Hello everybody out there in the bookverse, it's Stephanie, and today I am back with the second video in kind of a pairing that I'm hoping is going to be a series on this channel, and that is my 5 faves and my 5 flops of different bookish related things. And this grouping, pairing, couplet, whatever you want to call it, is about tropes. So this video is going to be about 5 of my least favorite tropes. 5 tropes that I just don't tend to enjoy in books. Now, like I said in my last video, I think any trope can be done well in a book, and I think it can be done in a way that I enjoy it, but these 5 I just don't tend to enjoy very often in books. Like, hardly ever am I gonna like this particular trope in a book. So if you're new to my channel, hey, welcome. Thank you so much for watching my videos. If you'd like to see more from me, definitely hit the subscribe button down below and the bell icon so you'll be notified when I post new content. But let's start talking about these tropes. I'm hoping I'm not going to trash on them too much, but I have some strong feelings about some of them. The first one on this list is the lucky novice trope. And this is pretty much when you have someone who has no training, no experience in this, or very little training or little experience in some particular area or aspect, and yet they succeed over and over again, or they win the tournament, or they defeat the bad guy who is so much stronger than them by sheer luck. I just don't like that often in books. It tends to really bug me. And one book that I read recently that has this in it and it just drove me nuts is Legendborn. I liked Legendborn as a book, but this aspect of it just irked me. I don't enjoy when people have no training in these areas and yet somehow they luck out and beat people who have trained their whole lives for this and are pretty much experts. It's just not enjoyable to me. It's not believable to me, and it makes me feel like the book is so much less realistic, which, I mean, let's be honest, it's fantasy to begin with, right? But I just need it to be a little bit more believable. I need to feel like there are some kind of stakes, and when you have that novice who wins with little or no effort or training, that just bugs me, and it makes me feel so much less invested in them because I don't think there's really any stakes involved in it. The next trope that I definitely do not enjoy is the resurrection trope. So a character dies and then we bring them back to life. I just don't like that. It bugs me so much. Every once in a while I can see I'm like, okay, I get that. Like, maybe they didn't actually die, but like, it's just something that also, again, makes me feel like the stakes are not there. Like, there's no stakes in the game when if people die, we just bring them back to life. I mean, hello, Supernatural, you can't do that every season. And I'm gonna give a spoiler warning here and leave a time for you to skip to if you don't want spoilers on this, but a book that I recently read and just hated it in is ACOWAR, so A Court of Wings and Ruin. I don't understand why you can't just let characters die. Why can't you accept the fact that in a war, a very bloody war, some of the main characters are gonna die? That's just how it's gonna go. And you can't just bring them back to life. It just doesn't feel like we invested anything into this war. There were no stakes. They talk about how people died, like so many people died and it was so tragic, but no one died that we even knew the name of, except like one person. And then one person who died, we just brought him back to life and it was fine. And so it feels like anytime when people that we care about die, we're just gonna bring them back to life. So who really cares? Why do I care about this war? Why am I invested? Let's just skip to the end of the battle. I don't know. I just hate when people are dying and you bring them back to life and then I just don't care anymore about the scenes that are supposed to like make me really invested and make me really want to know what happens, because I just know they're not gonna die anyway. The next trope on this list is one that I feel like bugs a ton of people, and that is the not like other girls trope. And yes, I am looking at you, Twilight. I think it is so annoying when the girl is she's just not like other girls. She's so different. No one understands who she really is. And oh my goodness, it bugs me. Like, people can be different without being this like crazy, mysterious creature that just no one gets them and they're really so deep and so different than people see on the surface. No, like, you can be different. That's fine. Like, you can have someone who is kind of artsy or quirky or whatever, but you don't have to make it into this whole plot element that they're not like other girls. That bugs me. And Bella, let's be honest, she is so bland vanilla like every other thing. Like, there's nothing special about her at all. At all. So the not like other girls trope in that book was just so poorly executed. But in other books, it does bug me as well. So this is a trope that just kind of irks me when I read the book and makes me not enjoy it as much. Like, you can have girls that are like really tough and like they like things that other girls don't, and that's fine, but don't make it so big of a deal that they're not the same. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. The next trope I'm going to talk about is the miscommunication trope. I hate it when the plot is pretty much based on the fact that there is miscommunication between characters or a lack of communication between characters, or like there's a secret kept between characters and that is the big plot point moving forward. It just is not enjoyable to me. I feel like people should talk. If it would be beneficial to discuss something or to be open with people, that's something I would enjoy more. And I really did not enjoy this in Eliza and Her Monsters. It's kind of this, I'm not going to tell him this because he didn't ask. So she's not like, she's kind of lying, but not as much. So it's kind of a miscommunication trope. I don't like that. I don't like when things could be easily solved by just talking to each other, by just being open and explaining things. And I know there's books that do it more and do it in a more annoying way, but I just couldn't think of them while I was planning this video, but I just hate it. It's not a trope that I am ever gonna enjoy in my books. I like it when if there is conflict, it's coming from something that you actually have to overcome and not from the fact that you just did not talk to each other. It's not necessary, it's annoying, and it bugs me. And the final trope on this list is the misunderstood bully trope. I don't know if that's really what it's called, that's what I am calling it, but this is when there is this person that is really mean and horrible and does horrible, terrible, mean things to other people, but then you get to know them more and they had such a troubled past, or they are just misunderstood and they're actually really a nice person and they're just doing all these horrible things for this reason. I'm like, but they're still doing these horrible things. I'm a believer in being nice to other people. And I'm not saying I don't like morally gray characters and things like that, but I don't like it when a person does terrible things, but then you learn things about them, you get to know them, and like, oh, actually they're a good person. They're just so misunderstood. I'm like, no. So a book where this is really, really done is The Cruel Prince. So this kid is really terrible. I mean, he literally rips off the body part of another person because they got in his way while he was walking around. Like, are you kidding me? Just randomly here, I'm just gonna rip your body part off because you annoyed me? No, I don't think there's any justification for that. Like, you can't really redeem yourself from that. And like the tormenting of other students and stuff, no. I just feel like you can't come back from those types of things and be someone that I would ever root for in a romantic relationship in a book. So sorry. But that's one that I just don't like. I don't like when they try to be like, oh, they may have like dismembered a person, but they were bullied when they were little. I'm like, okay, not enough justification for me. So that is the end of my list of tropes that I just really do not enjoy. Let me know down in the comments what tropes you just hate seeing in books and you could live without them being in like any book ever. Definitely let me know and we'll chat down in the comments. And as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me, hit the subscribe button down below and the bell icon, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.